Welcome to dojo.live, the place where top minds in travel and hospitality check in to share insights and breakthroughs shaping the industry. Brought to you by Encora, your trusted partner for AI, cloud, and data-driven innovation. Enjoy your stay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dojo Live and GBTA 2025, Denver, Colorado. Here once again with Fox World Travel and CIO Sam Hilgendorf. Thank you so much for joining us. Last year was our first conversation.
Yes.
This year we're here again, and I'm excited because last year we were talking about a lot of the AI, like what's going to be happening, and this year it's happening.
It's real.
It's real.
Which is so fun. Yep.
So fun. But before we dive into that, let's give the folks a chance, if they do not know you yet or Fox World Travel yet, high level, who you are and kind of what you guys as a company are up to. Please.
Perfect. Sam Hilgendorf, I'm the CIO for Fox World Travel, or the way I like to think of myself is kind of the overlord of the nerds. So it's basically I own everything that's technology for Fox. So any of the custom products that we create for customers, our AI strategy, distribution strategy, all the tools and functions that we provide.
All right, I love it. Here at GBTA, I know that Fox has unveiled two kind of major updates to the Fox Connect platform. One being the unused ticket management, and I believe the group air manager.
Correct.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Are you
Sure.
spotlighting those?
Absolutely, because those are two places that we see customers consistently struggle with. Group travel has always been a pain, especially when you start thinking about unprofiled travelers and all the different forms of payment you have to deal with, folks extending a trip, all of that. So our Group Air Manager product allows for some of that flexibility. We get a lot of the information from our travel managers and their programs up front, allows us to automate a lot of the experience for those travelers so that they know what to do, what the next step is, etc. So no, it's definitely a huge release. And yeah, unused tickets, again, another major pain point for travelers and customers. And just trying to ensure that, hey, I've got all the residual value for tickets that I've spent on, and then I want to make sure are used. So yeah, that's another platform that's brought right into Fox Connect. So that a travel manager or travelers know, hey, I've got this fund available to me. I want to use it, first and foremost prior to paying on a credit card.
Absolutely, giving people the ability, corporations, businesses, the ability to fight as hard as you would if it was your own leisure travel.
Right, exactly.
Yes, I love it. Now let's talk about your baby, and I'm gonna excuse my planned words here. Your baby, your pup. Yep. Your kit, right? That is Colby, the AI assistant for travel planning. Share the vision behind it and how it's helping both travelers and travel managers at the same time.
Absolutely. So yeah, when ChatGPT hit, back in 2023, it was like, all right, now is the time. This generative AI solution is real and it's able to be used across customers and travelers. We really had the initial idea for Colby back in 2019 of all things. Yep. And we even built a little mock-up to show, all right, here's how an AI personal assistant built right into Microsoft Teams.
When the technology exists, this is what it's going to look
exactly. And so we put together that prototype in Teams to be able to show what Colby could be. And unfortunately, at that point, because the LLMs hadn't existed yet, anything that we taught it was truly just Q&A back and forth. So I could teach Colby like, hey, you know what? What's the greatest football team in the world? The Green Bay Packers. But I had to literally tell Colby that was the answer. So it never would scale. It never would be that solution that I wanted. So then when ChatGPT hit, at the end of 2022 and early 2023, it was like, all right, now we're ready. So we went live with our very first implementation of Colby in September of 2023. So it was still new at that point. But then Colby was right there in our agents' hands. And it was such a neat experience because, when you roll out technology, oftentimes you struggle with adoption. It's like, all right, how do I get people to change behaviors, moving their cheese, things like that? With Colby, there was no adoption curve. Soon as folks found it, they were like, hey, this is better than, quite frankly, chatting with my coworker. I'm getting a better answer. Our vacation agents, who, again, historically are technology resistant, they found it. They were able to do the planning of itineraries. Like, hey, I want to do a 7-day itinerary to Scotland. Here's the family's interests. Here's their ages. Here's the kids. All those types of things, and then build a custom itinerary right on the fly with them, and things that we now know we can do in ChatGPT. But at that point, that was new. So it was fun to watch how folks that really embraced AI once they had it as easily accessible to them as it was in Microsoft Teams, and that basically started the iteration process. So once we had it, it was like, all right, now let's make some changes. So we added SOPs, so our agents could do research around, hey, how do I issue like a confirm a virtual payment card? Here's the step-by-step instructions. I could just quickly ask Colby. Colby would come up with that answer. We rolled out a version of Colby to our travel managers to allow them to have a conversation around reporting. So instead of going to a website, opening up a bunch of cards, inevitably exporting that data into a raw Excel spreadsheet, then running a pivot table on 3 or 4 data sources. Well, how can I have Colby do all that work for them? So Colby for travel managers are able to, they can put a query in, hey, compare my, top 4. Nope, I'm recording. That's all right. Pleasure.
Sam, say hi to the camera.
Yes. Sam, say up. It's a pleasure. So Colby could basically, for that travel manager, I could ask, hey, compare my top 4 airlines over the last quarter. Colby will present a table. Here's your spend across each. And then I can start the why questions. I can start asking things like, well, why is my spend with one supplier higher than the rest? And then Colby will go through and bring out things like, here's the number of tickets that you purchased. Here's your average ticket price. Here's the lost savings that you missed out on based on the purchasing that was all happening. And I can dig in further. I can ask, well, all right, why, really, what are these lost savings opportunities? And it'll break it out between like first class, business class tickets, or, traveler choosing to say, you know what, it's my preferred carrier, I'm just gonna pick it anyways, to be able to show the value of those decisions. And then tie it back to, all right, last question, all right, well, what cost centers are missing out on the most lost savings? And then it'll take that data, combine it all through a conversation.
Crazy.
And that stuff is awesome.
So I get my AIs confused, and so forgive me if I'm off base here, but I think, to me, an interesting next phase, and if this is going to be happening, would be the causal AI piece.
Yep.
Are you going to be able to play around with it conversationally to see what would happen if?
Yes. So I actually did that just the other day. I asked, all right, I'm like, Colby, because I hadn't tried it before, based on my last year of spend and things like that, how can I lower the spend I have on a certain carrier? And Colby came back with, hey, here's your largest areas of waste. Here's the things you could do. So one of the things that came back with is like, all right, here's the number of tickets and the cost of those tickets that were booked outside the 14-day window, as an example. So I didn't prompt it to say that's what I was after. I open-ended, how can I lower my spend?
And so it's just kind of doing this is kind of creepy, on its own.
Yes, on its own.
It's coded and it's learning, going back to the LLMs, and it's just like, so the generative is now becoming causal all on its own.
Correct.
I'm not sure if that's exciting or frightening or both.
It's a little bit both. It's definitely exciting because, again, I'm just seeing, I hate pivot tables. Every time I have to do a pivot table, I have to relearn how to do it again. Knowing that I've got this ability to do these types of things is amazing to me. And that's the part that's exciting. Definitely the risk side is, all right, either when it gets something wrong, hallucinations, how do I make sure that there's enough transparency to show, all right, how the query played through so that our engineers can get to the bottom of, all right, where did it pull incorrect information, or travel managers data team, that they can see, all right, here's the source of this information to validate it. So all those things, you still need some of that check and balance.
Absolutely. Today you participated on the From Friction to Flow,
yes,
a panel that was dedicated to AI's influence specifically on NDC.
Yep.
And I'm just curious some of your takeaways there, what you discussed, the role that you see, what was most exciting came out of that conversation with second Sam, our interrupter Sam.
Yes. Yeah, there's Sam that stopped by. Yes, exactly.
All right, but how was that experience for you? What were some of your this is right on?
Yeah. No, it was great. It was, the thing that really I took away, both going into it and kind of coming out of it, is search is going to change dramatically. The things that we take for granted with search, going out to a booking tool, going out to a website, doing all the filtering and things like that, that's changing. And I think you're going to see the conversational, attempt at search, changing, and it's going to create a lot of volume on looks. We talk about looks to book in travel a lot. How many queries versus a ticket, and the cost of those queries compared to a ticket. We're just at the beginning part. I mean, I ran a query on ChatGPT just last night around. All right, I want to find the 5 cheapest ways to get from Milwaukee to Denver on this date, and I want you to look not only at round trips, but price out one ways in both directions.
Oh, okay.
And sure enough, what came back was the cheapest option was 2 one ways, both ways. Now, a traveler's never going to do that search on their own.
No.
But to be able to have a tool
Maybe.
like,
I'm cheap, so
Okay.
I might.
fair enough. Yeah, I would never cross my mind to do that as a search. But again, that the power of these systems and the power of this the technology can generate those searches at far beyond the human capability. So now there's a system though that has to respond to all of those. So every time I ask it to query a round trip or multiple one ways, all those queries generate traffic. All those require power. They require processing.
Which
And
is one
this
of the dark sides.
It is one of the dark sides of this, and that is the stuff that is going to evolve with how we think about search when it comes to both AI, NDC, and just general business travel.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you kind of to continue on this theme and project a little bit out in terms of opportunities for travel technology in the next 12 to 18 months, but I think you already answered that question. And all right, so anything else you'd like to add, or shall we move on?
If I think about that, that traveler shopping experience. So one of the growing up as a kid, reruns and game shows. I mean, I remember watching Name That Tune. So like, can you name that tune in less than 5 notes, less than 3 notes, etc. And to me, I think that's what's the change is going to be for the shopping experience. Once these AI integrations with travel get to the point where I can get the itinerary I want in 3 back and forths or less, that's going to be better than going out to a website.
Yeah. And eventually just by saying it and not even typing it.
Not even typing it, right? Just saying it. Yep. Give me, start with 5 options again from Milwaukee to Denver, based on my history, based on the profile information that I've got. Start there, and then I can say, hey, I want something a little bit earlier, or I want something a little bit later. You know what? Give me a couple more options, and then all right, no, this is the one I like.
That sounds great. Book it.
Exactly, sounds great, and then book it. And that's the agentic AI side, and that's the stuff around. You're gonna have an AI do a search, and then it'll have to hand off the actual booking to another AI, because that search AI is not going to do the booking. And that's they're all going to have to interconnect, and that I think is going to be the fun that we're going to see over the next few years.
I love it. Now bringing it a bit closer to home here, Fox World Travel does have that reputation for putting people in service first. I think starting first internally, and then of course to the clients that you have. How do you strike that balance between the deep tech innovation as well as maintaining the human touch? What are your thoughts around that?
So I believe we're still at a point where AI-enabled people is still the right path forward for a lot of needs. Taking the experiences that an agent has around all the different types of disruption they've had to solve for customers, all the wisdom that they've developed from what's really a risk versus not a risk. AI is not going to have all of that experience behind it. It's at the end of the day, it's a prediction engine. It's going to take all the information that it had and predict the next step based on your conversation. It doesn't bring out the wisdom of the
care.
Or the care. Yeah, you can do this, but you necessarily shouldn't unless you're okay with these risks. Those are the aspects that people are still going to bring to the table with all of this. But if I can have those agents leveraging AI so that they can focus on the risk conversation, to me, that's the win. Then they're still the traveler's getting the benefit of the efficiency and the productivity of AI, but still with that genuine caring concern that a person would bring.
I love it. And now ending here with a fun question, but a very important one. Window or aisle, and why?
So it depends. It's if I'm on a direct flight that's 3 or 4 hours early in the morning, I'm taking that window seat all day long. Go to the bathroom first. And then, because that is like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm just going to sit in the corner, try to take a nap, and go. If it's middle of the day, and I want I'll sit on the aisle because I do want to get up and move around a little bit, things like that. So yeah, it depends on the time of day and the distance and direction.
It's been a mixed bag. I'm gonna throw it out there and we'll see what people come up with. But I do get that it depends a lot. And then there's some like hardcore. Nope. This one.
This is it.
You know, it has been a true pleasure, Sam, talking with you again at GBTA. If anybody else would like to talk to you, reach out to you, your team, learn more about Fox World Travel, what's the best way for them to do that?
So simplest way to reach out to me is LinkedIn. I'm easy to find, Sam Hilgendorf. Otherwise, reaching out to Fox. Our website is www.foxworldtravel.com. You'll find all the contact information there.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your GBTA tomorrow. Last day. All right.
Fantastic.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.